Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Someday I will take the Travis way and just say good day, and not have to deal with all of that.
Good day. And just for awareness, I am working with a single screen, so maybe a little bit less robust today. So,
Good.
and
We,
it's
we, will- we
small.
will take whichever way you offer yourself to us.
Fair enough.
Solomon, am I going to hear from you this week?
Actually,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'll be sending it anytime within the course of the week.
Okay. Let's
Yes.
try to chat too before the week is out as well.
Okay, no problem.
Also, I've received, I think, about 10 responses to the learning style assessment between 11 p.m. Eastern time last night and 5 a.m. this morning. So um, I'll get those out as soon as we wrap up here today. So you let me know when you want to start. I'm showing you 1 minute past the hour, but also see a
Okay.
small group. So
Your time must be a minute, or my time is a minute behind because mine says we have a minute. It's 5:59. Oh, it's a minute before.
okay.
So let's give folks a couple more minutes to. Then I should also send a note in the group chat.
For the person that requested to record, this is automatically recorded and posted, so you'll have access to the recording.
Okay, we have a couple minutes of being now, so let's get going. So, good day, everybody. We are fortunate to have our favorite presenter be back with us. Travis Reed will be leading today's presentation again. I know some of you now know him from the last presentation, but all the same, I will bore you by reintroducing him. Travis is currently on his third career, drawing from his passion of helping organizational leaders implement good change within their organizations using agile, lean, and other practices. He has led multiple enterprise-wide re-engineering efforts within the context of digital transformation, agile transformation. Hence, he calls himself Dr. Agile, even though he doesn't like to hear me say that. Uh, and efforts in Lean Six Sigma. His energy and passion are powered by his experiences within the system and software development and support for the last 25 years, as well as the problems he's encountered. Travis has numerous certifications. I won't bore you by going into all of that, but he's heavily certified. And if you want to see some more of Travis, he blogs on Icon ATG, and he also has his own website at www.agilecoach.blog. So please check it out. Today's session is going to be focused on knowing your personal resources. As most of you must have heard me say, the entrepreneurial journey is a solo one. However, it doesn't preclude you from engaging and leveraging other resources and bringing them, getting as much of a support network as you possibly can. And Travis will be taking us through some of those key resources that enable and we can leverage in this solo journey, which we find ourselves as entrepreneurs. So with that, I will turn it over to Travis. Travis?
Thank you, sir. Good day, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a chance to look at a survey that we sent out or an assessment that we sent out as well. And for those of you that did not get an email response yet, I know a number of you submitted in the last 8 hours or so. I will get those responses out to you as probably shortly after this call ends today. But I would say within the next couple of hours, you should receive an email that will give you some insights into how your assessment came out and how you can use that information to power the options that we're going to talk about today for finding some people that can help you in your journey, can guide you in your journey. That information is also information that you can use to improve relationships that you currently have. If you're in a subordinate relationship, you've got a boss, or if you are the boss, some good insights can come from that. The reason that we look at your learning style is because that gives us key insights into your communication style as well. And that is a way for us to help pretty much anyone who wants to improve relationships that they have. Most of our relationships are based on communication and effective communication. So understanding how you learn, how you communicate are some really good insights and can help you identify people that can help you on your journey, people that might be considered what we'll call an advisor or a mentor or coach, or just a friend, a peer, somebody that can give you critical insights. Knowing how you communicate is really important to that. So if you have not, did I mark up the screen there, or did I let somebody else mark up the screen? If you have not received your response yet, you should receive that within the next couple of hours. For those of you that did receive your responses, hopefully you had a chance to take a look at the email and get draw some key insights from that already. So I don't know where those markups came from. Sorry, let me see if I can unmark those or if somebody else marked that up. Are you seeing those red lines on the screen there, Judy?
Yes, I am. And I wondered whether you had some kids, give them access. It looks to be on, it's
I
not on the
did not.
slide.
Yeah, that's very odd. I don't know
It's
why that's
probably on some screen, the
not.
Zoom screen that you're
Okay.
projecting from.
Yeah, so it looks like somebody might have marked up the screen. So we'll just try sharing again here. Um, share. PowerPoint. There we go. Let's share that one. Okay, that looks like it took care of it. So again, we're going to talk about a couple of things today. We're going to talk about 3 specific roles that are very commonly used by entrepreneurs, organizational leaders, and other folks that are just on different career journeys, whether it's entrepreneurial or not, folks that want to improve their outcomes. We'll talk a little bit about the different, compare the roles, give you a little bit of insight into some of the mechanics of the roles. And then last but not least, certainly give you a chance to ask questions, get some clarifications, and then hopefully each webinar will provide you with lots of additional resources for you to use to go back and either rewatch the webinar, look at the notes from the webinar that you took, or just read the articles or some of the material that we provide. I think some of the stuff that we provided on the strategy session, the feedback was very positive on that. Hopefully we'll get the same feedback. As always, we'll ask you after the webinar to give us feedback. One of the things that I personally focus on is trying to continuously improve how we deliver value to you. I know Chudi's very focused on that as well. So we look for your feedback on what we've provided you to give us insights on, is that the right tone? Is that the right message? Is that the right set of resources? Should we be giving you something else? So please partake of that. All right, so let's jump in here and talk first about a mentor. Let me see if I can get that out of the way there. There we go. So what is a mentor? Generally, we consider a mentor someone who's going to share specific knowledge or skills with you in order to help uh, develop you in a particular area. Frequently, mentors will focus on personal interactions. They'll focus on personal skill sets. They don't often focus on business activities. However, they certainly can. I know that some of the executives that I've coached in the past have told me that they've had mentors that have focused on key aspects of executive leadership and things like that, skill sets that you might not be able to find, some of the resources that would help you or books that might help you. So they would have executive, you may call it coaching or mentoring, but it's frequent that in large organizations, large enterprises, at least in the US, it's very frequent that a junior executive will have a senior executive as their mentor to help them with what I might refer to as politics, office politics, understanding when to speak up, when not to speak up, some of that type of stuff. So they'll help to develop a relationship with you, to give you some guidance. The goal here really is to develop specific knowledge areas, and again, some specific skills, but really to develop you as a person. That's what they're trying to do. And the mentor-mentee relationship should be based on mutual trust. So you should understand each other. There should be some respect in that relationship. It should be frequent and open communication, which means sometimes the communication or the feedback is going to be critical feedback that you need in order to continue to improve. Frequently we'll hear leaders, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, others often talk about mentors that they had early in their career or mentors that they've had throughout their career. So you'll hear people talk about that because ideally the mentoring relationship is going to have a long-lasting impact on you in helping you become a better you, a better leader, a better entrepreneur, whatever it is that you're striving for. A couple of other things I would note that when we look at a mentor-mentee relationship, there should be some level of formality in it. It certainly can be informal, and I think Warren Buffett talks about informal and formal mentoring. And he talks about the informal being kind of focused on his personal attributes, his personal skill set, and the formal being more focused on some of his business acumen and those types of things. So again, I personally, when I do mentoring, I try to have a more formal, I try to make sure that you're setting goals and objectives that you're trying to work towards in order to be able to help you as a mentor. It's sometimes difficult to help someone if there isn't some level of formality there, but that's not required. Okay, so if you want some formality, it's certainly an option. When we think about a coach, frequently we think about sports teams, right? And that's probably a really good analogy. There's someone who's going to provide specific guidance on a specific set of goals, usually a specific set of practices. I would really focus on the practice side of things. And that's a good way for you to key in on the difference between a mentor and a coach. A coach is going to look for you to demonstrate practice certain activities, right? They're going to be focused on performance. And that coach is really going to look at a specific skill set. So maybe public speaking, you might have a public speaking coach, or you might have a professional writing coach. Those are some of the areas that you'll frequently see people coach. There's a trend in the US, at least right now, for life coaches, people that are going to help you with your life. That's a fairly broad area of skill sets. So I often chuckle because it's really difficult to coach somebody in their life unless you have a ton of life experience and you really can offer some folks stuff. I usually see coaches that are more effective be really keying in on certain areas, certain dimensions of your relationship, and certain practices. And I find those are probably the um, more productive relationships from a coaching relationship. They can help you be a little more focused towards some certain outcomes that you're looking for. And then the next relationship type that's fairly common, especially for entrepreneurs, is somebody that's an advisor. And an advisor is going to have very specific expertise. If you were to Google advisor, probably the number one advisor that's going to come up is a financial advisor. That's something that's very frequently seen because they have specific knowledge in a specific financial area, the stock market or cryptocurrency or investing in real estate or investing in precious metals or art or those types of things, right? So they have a very specific knowledge band. And one of the key areas, an advisor usually isn't going to be very active in the work side of things. You're going to them for a specific set of answers or knowledge. And I would often look at the consulting role as a good example of an advisor. In fact, I've always, for my practice, my business, I've always tried to be in a relationship where I'm considered a trusted advisor as it relates to the areas that I have knowledge in, whether that's lean or agile or business strategy related to the use of lean and agile practices. So they really have a specific knowledge band that you're trying to tap into. The relationship is usually fairly formal. Often there's a contract in place for that, or you have some type of referral that somebody is given to you to say this person knows about that particular type of business or that particular thing, and I'm going to share them within my network for you, and you can use them for advice in that area. And again, from an expectation standpoint, we expect them to give us, information and be very accurate, very precise, and have that, you know, deep, deep knowledge around that particular area. A little bit when you contrast that with some of the previous roles, right? Mentors are typically going to engage in a longer term relationship. They're looking at building a better you or a better, person lead or whatever it happens to be. And they're looking to do that over time, where an advisor is really more of a point in time. I've got a critical decision that I need to make, and I'm looking for you to help me with that decision, or help me negotiate a certain strategy outcome that I'm working towards, so that there's more time bound, for sure, and certainly, again, project by project, right, or effort by effort that you're trying to achieve, is how we'd look at the advisor role. So I'm going to stop here, giving you a couple of different examples. What I'd like to do is do a quick survey with the group. Let me see here if I can find the. Again, I apologize. I'm working on a single screen, so I'm a little bit challenged today. So bear with me if you can. I'm going to ask you to go to a website. The website is called menti.com. So if you go to menti.com, yeah, okay. We can get that off the screen. That would be awesome. Menti.com. I don't know why that won't come off the screen here. There we go. And enter the code 25882323, menti.com. And it's going to ask you for a code 25882323. And that will get you in. When I see folks joining, I'll be able to know when folks are joining. Menti, menti.com. You can use your phone, you can use your iPad, computer, whatever you're watching the presentation with.
Two five three three 88.
No, 25882323. And the code's on the screen, by the way.
No, it's not. We still see your slide.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I thought we were sharing. I apologize. I thought I had switched it over. Apparently I did not. There we go. Menti.com, menti.com. And the code is 25882323. There we go. Give you about 30 more seconds to get joined. Okay, so this will allow you to answer a quick survey here. Just trying to understand, have you ever had a formal relationship with either an advisor, a coach, mentor, more than one of those, or none of those? Just trying to understand how many people have actually been engaged in these types of relationships in the past.
Is there anybody who run into a problem getting access to the site?
Yes, I had a problem. It was like server can't be found.
Are you in now? Or you still can't get in?
I still can't get in.
I didn't hear what the problem was, Shruti, sorry.
Tafik, what was the specific problem? Or what message are you getting?
It said server can't be found.
Server cannot be found. Are you sure you're typing the address at the top of the screen? menti.com? You
Yes,
want to
please.
Okay.
Sounds like maybe a connectivity issue.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be.
Okay, so it looks like a number of folks have had one of the relationship types. Certainly looks like mentor is something that's very common. Again, a little bit less formal. Certainly can be structured and formal, and try to work towards specific outcomes. The advisor role, again, and the presenter hasn't changed slides yet.
Yeah, we're all getting that. I guess it's when you're done with this and you
Yeah,
figure out the
yeah.
question.
So this will navigate. Once you go into Menti, it kind of navigates for you. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So here's a question for you. What do you see Chudi's role in your life? What is it that you see? Because Chudi's been, especially for folks that have been engaged in the different activities here. And this is an open-ended question, so it doesn't have to be mentor, advisor, coach. Just how do you see Chudi in your life? And that will give us a little bit of context as well. By the way, Chudi didn't know I was going to ask this question, so.
Hence why Judy is giggling.
Mm.
I'm puzzled.
Georgia's marking up our screen again. I'm gonna have to take that annotation option away. There you go. Destiny changer. Ooh. Give folks about 30 more seconds to see if they want to add anything here. Okay, so again, good example of whether a relationship is more formal or less formal, and how you engage with folks in order to improve your outcomes, or for them, give them an opportunity to improve your outcomes. That's generally what we see as kind of the common mentoring role. And when we talk about coaching, we talk about more specific practice-based outcomes, right? So if Judy was coaching you on how to do a better presentation, for example, or pitch your business, or crystallize the hypothesis for your business, or validation of your business, those would be specific areas. And then we kind of move into the coaching. And by the way, I would say from personal experience, it's probably fairly common that mentors will also be coaches in specific areas, because they do have generally some very specific knowledge in those areas. So they'll often move fairly seamlessly from being a mentor, advising, and kind of giving you an opportunity to improve, or setting a new goal, helping you set a new goal for yourself, and then potentially even providing you with resources or some practice guidance on how you might go about achieving that goal. I would say, from my experience, fairly common, but it doesn't have to be, right? That's not necessarily the definition of the role. Okay? And again, I would say the formality of that relationship would tend to provide some insights on whether or not you can expect that person to assist you in that area. Okay. So that's going to be it for the Menti right now. Let's go ahead and jump back in. I'll stop sharing the Menti and jump back into the slide deck here. So, okay. So we talked about the 3 different roles. Let's talk a little bit about some examples that you might see. And again, I brought some of these up, but some key differences that we'll often see. Generally, mentoring has a longer term. I would say for myself, when I take on a mentoring group, I actually use a 12-month guide as kind of the standard. I ask the mentees that I take under my mentorship. I ask them to commit to 12 months worth of time. I ask them to commit to a specific amount of hours per month during that 12-month period of time. I also ask them to commit to reading specific books that are part of building a library of resources for themselves. So there's a little bit more formality, a little bit longer time band, because we're generally trying to change or develop key characteristics, key skill sets that help you achieve longer term goals and objectives that you're working on. Certainly lifelong mentorship is not uncommon. The best example I generally come up with is in sports, you'll often hear folks that will cite early coaches that have been part of their career. I honestly, I think the best mentoring relationship is a parental relationship. It's probably the one that truly is a lifelong relationship. And you can see how it changes over time, where it starts off early as more of a coach type relationship. They're trying to help you develop good skill sets, good moral character, good ethics, those types of things. But then later in life, they tend to actually move from mentoring you even kind of into an advisory role often, right? And then move in and out of that advisory role, and you see less of the coaching and more of the mentoring / advisory type of thing. There's no qualifications required for mentoring. At least in the US, there's no quote unquote certification for it or no licensing or anything of that type of thing. Where advisory roles, you frequently see that they have to be, at least in the US again, licensed, they have to be registered or certified, knowing a specific area. And coaching also often will require some type of certification. There's a specific knowledge band that's associated with coaching. Frequently, you'll see, like I said, life coaching is a little bit nebulous, but many of the other areas, you'll see some licensing or certifications in those areas. Mentoring, a little bit more directive. It's about the mentor sharing knowledge and experience, telling the mentee, kind of guiding them. My personal style is to set the mentee up for experiments where they will try to gain a wider knowledge band in a particular area, and then kind of debrief post the experiment, understand what they experienced, and kind of build on that experience. And again, knowing each of the mentees' learning style is important, especially if you're a kinesthetic learner. You're someone who learns through the tactile exploration of activities. You may have struggled in school. It's very common for kinesthetic learners to struggle in school because they like to do things. And in school, we often hear teachers speak to us and show us and read and kind of learn through visual learning or auditory learning, where the kinesthetic learner wants to learn by touching, doing, feeling, experiencing things. So again, knowing your learning style is very helpful in understanding how to engage with a mentor or an advisor or a coach. Mentoring, mainly development driven, right? It's looking for you to decide what you want to do, what are the goals that you're looking to achieve, and then once you've set those goals, then work towards achieving those goals or those outcomes that you've identified as key things that are part of the relationship, the value proposition of the relationship. Coaching, again, typically.
Travis, let me chime in here quickly.
Yep.
There's a question in the chat. Should mentors charge mentees? Please address the confusion on this.
So the answer there is maybe, right? That should be determined as part of establishing that mentor-mentee relationship. It is not uncommon to have somebody who's spending a great deal of time investing in you to be compensated for that. I will tell you from myself, I don't charge people. When I do leadership mentoring, I have a leadership program that I've developed, and I don't charge people for it, but I consider that an investment. And the way that I structure the compensation for that is I require them to take on future mentees, so that my goal is I hate to say noble, but my goal is more noble, that we develop better leaders, and better leaders will eventually make a better world. So that, that's my approach to it. But it is not uncommon to have folks charge for the mentoring relationship. They're adding value to your life, and certainly if they want to be compensated for that, that's their prerogative. It's also your prerogative to choose a mentee or a mentor relationship that doesn't charge for that. Coaching, I would say probably a little more frequent that you'd get, the expectation, I think, would be that you'd be paying for a coach, right? That's a little bit, or the coach would be compensated in some way, but typically there's a compensation structure for coaches. Again, shorter term, it could be really super short conversations. They could be coaching you on a specific activity. Observational coaching, especially when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to writing, when it comes to executive coaching. They're going to coach you on very, very specific tactical type of practices. I watched you do this. That's a behavior that is something that you should enhance or avoid, as opposed to maybe applying emotional intelligence. That might be more of a mentoring area where you need to develop a deeper understanding of it and take some time to develop practices within that area that might help you over time. Coaching relationships can be longer, for sure. If you're trying to be coached in a very broad area and it requires development of a number of practices, it certainly can be longer. But I frequently see coaches that will go in and in my current role, one of my current roles as an agile coach, I will frequently observe an agile ceremony, and I will spend 10 or 15 minutes debriefing somebody post the ceremony in order to help them see the things that they're doing very well, and see some opportunity areas for them to improve, and kind of debrief in that way. So very frequent, you'll see that. Training is also a key aspect of coaching. We expect them to have a training, some type of, either formal or informal, but more frequently formal set of materials that they can provide somebody, and use as kind of the basis for the practice area. Coaching is a little bit less directive, which means you're more trying to ask questions. Really, the main area that most of the certified coaching programs will focus on is really about developing the ability to ask open-ended questions, to have conversational activities, to use influence, and really give people the opportunity to explore ideas and concepts. Coaching, again, frequently in larger organizations, you'll have coaches that will focus on developing managers, organizational leaders, certainly key practice areas of the organization that are trying to drive organizational efficiency or organizational initiatives. We see that very frequently. It's performance driven. It should be, the individuals being encouraged. It should be relevant to their day-to-day activity as well, right? So we shouldn't be coaching somebody how to do something in physics if your daily activity has nothing to do with physics, right? We want you to be developing skill sets within the areas that are going to help you improve your performance. So if you want to coach somebody on professional swimming and they've never gotten into a pool before, that's probably going to be a challenge for you. And then when we think about the advisor, again, the key thing here is they have a very specific knowledge band. Their expertise is in one particular area or a very small set of areas. Not expected to do work, and you should expect to compensate this person. Again, unless you have some type of a personal network or what I would call loaned in network type of activity. One of the things that I do from a coaching standpoint is I have people that are part of my network, and I might advise them and kind of use that as a chit or a chip that later on I can pass that chip on to somebody else and say, this person has, they owe me a chip or a chit, and you need their specific expertise. I'm lending you that chit, or I'm loaning you that chit as a way to compensate that person. But again, if the question came up around compensation, typically an advisor is going to be a compensated role. If you can find a free advisor that has very specific, deep knowledge, keep them in your network and take advantage of them whenever you can, unless you're Chudy. So this grid gives you a little bit of kind of a compare and contrast of each one of the roles. Some key areas that I do think are important for you to look at. So I'm going to make some annotations here. The emotional commitment, right? If you're a person that requires a high level of emotional commitment, you want to be aware of the fact that this coach is probably not going to be emotionally connected to you, right? So you want to make sure that you understand those types of things. If you're looking for a long-term relationship, right? Somebody that you can go to time and time again, that you can have conversations with over time and really develop a almost personal relationship with them. Again, not typically the type of thing that you'd see in the coaching role or certainly in the advisory role. Okay. It can be, there certainly are exceptions to that, but that's not typical. Commercial terms, what we're talking about here is, are there specific industry or bands of knowledge related to these? It says typically not in the mentor area. I think that's probably changing somewhat. But again, this stems from the fact there are typically not any certifications or licenses, where these two areas we typically see certifications and licensing. So therefore, we tend to have a more of a commercial relationship there. The goals that you're looking for, again, skills and expertise. If you're trying to develop specific skills or expertise, you want that mentoring role. If you're looking to improve performance, maybe you have some specific skills and expertise, but you're looking to improve performance, that's where that coaching role is going to come in. And again, frequently these two things are connected. Okay. This is more of short-term or targeted tactical. I need advice in a particular area, and I want a specific impact or a specific outcome that I'm looking for. This is where that advisory role will come in. And then again, the time commitment. Some key things you want to think about is the goal, time commitment, and then if you're a person that requires kind of that emotional connection and you're looking for a more durable, long-lasting relationship, those are kind of the key areas that you want to focus on in determining, what am I trying to get? Am I trying to get a mentor, an advisor, or a coach? Again, the key area here is going to be this goal. What are you trying to achieve as an outcome? And then the other areas will be based on your personal style, your personal desires. All right. Let me get rid of those annotations here. That did not get rid of the annotations. Let's see if we can clear the annotations. There we go. Clear all. There we go. Works like a charm. When you're selecting someone, again, key things to think about: what do you need? What are you trying to get? Are you trying to get a point in time decision and I need real-time insights, or I need somebody's expertise to guide me in making this decision? Do you need support? Are you trying to improve a specific practice, or are you trying to develop more broad, generalized outcomes? Is your need now, or is it more long-term, right? Am I thinking more strategically or more tactically? Is your need personal, or is your need a business need? Okay, so you're in the entrepreneurial role or journey. It's very common that you'll have to decide frequently, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for the business? Okay. And those things are important distinctions, because frequently you will have to make tactical decisions or point in time decisions for the business, and for also strategic as well. But for you, you will typically not have those time bounded things. You're more longer term, longer vision, longer outcome, longer perspective. If you as a person, you have a passion for your career path, but you're not confident enough, like the fear of the unknown, can your mentor help build up your confidence? Certainly can, right? So good question. Can a mentor help build your confidence? Yes. Now, and I think the way you ask that goes back to the key takeaway from the previous slide, which is, when you think about the relationship, if you're looking at somebody who's going to give you point in time specific knowledge, is that going to be an advisor? And the answer is yes. Are they going to be able to help you with confidence? Maybe, right? They may give you confidence in the decision that you're making, but they're probably not giving you that longer term confidence. Is the coaching role going to be able to do that? Again, maybe, but the mentor role is designed to be that longer, more durable relationship. And confidence isn't something that generally will happen overnight, right? Again, an advisor might give you confidence in a specific decision, but they may not give you confidence to make that decision the next time it comes up, because the circumstances or the context could change, where the mentor would help to build that broader, deeper understanding and really focus on that. So that's a great way of thinking about that mentoring relationship. And then how you learn. Again, how you learn, how you communicate is key to the interactions of these things, right? If you're a person that's a kinesthetic learner and you want somebody to help you with a specific thing, an advisor is not going to help you and leverage that kinesthetic learning. They can help you with a specific decision or set of criteria that you need to evaluate, but you would expect that when it comes to kinesthetic learning, you're more in that coaching. You need somebody that's going to be coaching you, and maybe using the mentoring role, where the mentor can move seamlessly between the coaching and the mentoring, because you're the type that wants to do things, and coaching is about getting people to do things, to practice doing the thing that they're trying to improve. Again, each of these roles is going to offer a different approach to helping you in the things that you're going to experience in your journey, right? Making time critical decisions, needing specific insights, developing longer term skills, building relationships and networks.
So, Travis, let's personalize this a little bit.
Sure.
So are there, I know you've had mentors, you've had coaches, you've had advisors. As you think back, have there been scenarios where you felt, I need to go get myself a mentor? And what were those scenarios? Oh, I need to go get myself a coach. If you can think back and you're willing to share, kind of give us some understanding for how you came about those decisions and how you went about seeking or soliciting for those.
Yeah. So probably very early on in my career, post the military, getting out of the military, I did look for a mentor, and I looked for a mentor because I knew I wanted to do some things, but it didn't really, it didn't have a specific target that I was looking at. I knew I wanted to explore some different opportunity areas. One of the areas that I wanted to explore was in technical challenge. At the time, computers. So for those of you that don't know and can't tell from my video, I'm fairly mature. So I I got out of the military about the time that personal computers were starting to be introduced into the home. So early 90s. And I got involved in the technology at that point of my career because I was interested. And I don't know that I would say that the person was a coach, but I developed a relationship with somebody who was also in the military. And he taught me things, right? I'm a kinesthetic learner. He taught me things in a coaching type of relationship about how to do specific practices, how to understand. Now, at the time, there was not a lot of university courses to be able to go and do some of the things that we were doing with computers, building custom computers and designing custom computers. So he coached me. He helped develop specific practices and knowledge areas that helped me. He wasn't my mentor as it related to my career, but he was somebody who coached a specific area. So again, I think probably those are the first time that I really looked at that. Now, I did in the military. I had somebody who was a senior person who had been in longer than me, and we developed a personal relationship. We shared common interests, and I used him as an advisor for career opportunities or career exploration. And that's again very frequent. You kind of look to that the wise sage type of person. Post that, I have frequently developed networks that I use in kind of the mentoring coaching role. One of the areas that personally I'm focused on getting coaching right now is in the artificial intelligence area, because I don't have as much time to explore in that as I'd like to. And so I use somebody who coaches me in that area. As it relates to mentoring, again, I have my network of folks that I have previously had a mentoring relationship with, where I was the mentor and they were the mentee, and I keep them in my network. I frequently will reach out to folks and use them in kind of that advisory mentoring type of conversation. So yes, the short answer is yes. Frequently, I've used each one of these roles. And again, over time, folks that previously might have been a mentor are now in that advisory role, or maybe even moved into a coaching role because they're exploring something that a particular interest area for me. So again, I think the key here is understanding what are you seeking, and then who is in your band of knowledge, your band of people, and then how do you go about supplementing that. I use something in my mentoring called the Personal Power Committee, which is you sitting down and identifying who is it that you need in your ring, right? Your advisory ring or your knowledge ring, and how do they fill a gap in your strengths and weaknesses assessment so that you can understand, hey, when I need this particular knowledge area, I go to this person, right? They're my go-to person. And maybe you have 2 or 3 go-to people there, right? I think those type of self-assessments help you position to be able to answer your question, Judy, which is, if I haven't done a critical inventory of the things that I want, in my skill set and need in order to kind of complete my journey as an entrepreneur, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to pick a mentor that's going to be able to help you, or a coach that's going to be able to help you, because you haven't done the first part, which is the self-evaluation, sitting down, looking at where you've got some gaps and need to improve. Hopefully that gave you good context and an answer. All the more wisdom to share. I don't know what that's related to. I'm hoping that's a comment, not a question.
Yeah, that was helpful. Thanks, Travis. I have a follow-on question. So with the Foundation Readiness Program, we're going to be assigning mentors to each of the participants of the program. However, there are others who have not, or who will not be assigned a mentor, at least not at this time. We don't have that capability to do that yet. So how would you recommend somebody go about getting a mentor? How do they engage? Or if they identify somebody that they would like to be their mentor, what should they do? What steps should they take towards trying to get them to be a mentor? Is there any advice or guidance you can provide them?
Yeah. So again, I think I would start with what are you trying to get, right? What is the goal? So I'm going to go back to a previous slide here, right? It starts with the goal, and if you know what you're trying to achieve, because you called it a mentor, and I think I understand you using that as kind of a generalized term, but it may not be a mentor that you need, right? It may be something else. It may be, based on the goal that I'm trying to get here, it may be an advisor that I need, or it may be a coach that I need. And maybe the mentor, quote unquote, can fill those 2 roles. Maybe they have specific knowledge in that area or expertise in that area and can give you the point in time decision that you need. Or if you're trying to develop a practice, a set of skills, maybe they can help you with those skills as well. But that mentor relationship, right, from an outcome standpoint, you first have to know what it is that you're looking for, and you should be able to write it down. So again, I can probably share some examples, but when I do my mentoring, I make people write down what are the 3 goals that you intend to achieve within this particular knowledge band. And in my case, it happens to be leadership. What are the 3 specific goals or 4 specific goals that you're going to try to achieve during this period of time? How will you know when you've achieved those goals? And how do they fit within this knowledge band? So when you say how does somebody go about selecting a mentor, first you have to say, what is it that I'm trying to achieve, right? Am I trying to achieve something for the business? Am I trying to achieve it for me? And then in those 2 areas, then you can say, now this is the person I want to engage with. The mentors that people are going to have in the cohort are going to be related specifically to, developing your business strategy, developing the business pitch, those type of things, right? Other mentors might be helping you with, again, personal skill sets, developing management skill sets. In the management skill set, maybe they bring in a coach, because the coach can help with specific management understanding of financial management, as an example, or performance management, as an example. So again, I think you first need to start with, what is it that I want out of the relationship? And then from there, you can start to determine which is the best relationship type, right? And you can ask that person, you can identify somebody, or just ask a person, hey, Trudy, would you be my mentor, right? And I want you to mentor me in these two areas. And this is how much time I'm asking you to commit to me. And then if you want talk about compensation, I don't want to pay you. However, I'm willing to trade because I have this to offer, or whatever. However you want to develop that. You can ask somebody to mentor you. You can search for mentors. There are people that do it professionally. You can reach out in your network of folks and ask people if they know somebody who's interested in mentoring somebody in a specific area. So there's lots of ways, networking is kind of the key to finding a mentor. Coaches, again, because there's a more formal structure there, typically, it's a little bit easier to find, performance management coaching, right? Or financial management coaching or executive coaching. You can find those because there's more certifications, there's more formality there. And again, there's typically structured compensation. So people advertise for those types of things. And the same for advisory consulting roles, right? So the mentoring is a little bit more nebulous. You have to be willing to ask and kind of, throw your, as they say, I'm in Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. So you got to throw your line in the water if you want to catch a fish, right? So does that help clarify a little bit?
Helpful for me. Hopefully the others found it helpful too. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. Again, I've talked a little bit that to me, one of the hopefully key things that you'll take away from this is really, what am I trying to do? And then how do I learn, right? How was it best for me to engage? Again, me personally, I'm a kinesthetic learner. I like to do things. I'm the guy that will, at Christmas time, I would open my son's bicycle and pour all the parts on the ground and start putting it together. And then when something went wrong, I would look back at the instructions, right? That is the classic kinesthetic learner. If you're that type of person, the coaching activity is a little bit more tailored towards your learning style. They're going to tell you, they're going to say, go do this, and then come back and tell me how that worked, right? And that's going to be you learning that way. The advisory role is going to be often, they're going to tell you, or they're going to give you a report, and you're going to read that information, or they're going to listen to that information, and then you're going to act on that information. So auditory is really the key there. And then again, mentoring is it's going to mix up those different styles and try to leverage them. One of the things that is beneficial about the mentoring role is the mentoring role allows the ability to pull in an advisor or coach on a specific area. The coach, if you bring in a performance management coach or an executive coach, they're not going to typically pull in an advisor to on something, or even a mentor on something. They may recommend that you get a mentor, but they're so focused on a particular area, they're really going to bring somebody else in, where the mentor will frequently do that because they recognize you need help in a specific area, or you need some specific targeted expertise, and they want you to have access to that. Yes. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, we have opportunity for questions here. Any questions, follow-up? No. Hopefully everyone getting a little bit of insight here. I do have a quick activities. Let me stop sharing. Oh, there's chat there. Great session. Okay, thank you. So let's do this real quick. Let's go back to Mentimeter. And let's, I'm going to share my screen here. Un momento, por favor. See if I can get my, there we go. Share my screen. Find it. There it is. Okay, chat question. While I'm looking at this chat question, if you want to go back to menti.com and enter the code 1811-7697, so you can close out the session. Previous session, if you hadn't already done that, open up a new session, go to menti.com, enter the code 1811-7697. And that will get you into the next Menti session. Question, can someone have 2 or more mentors at the same time? I don't know why you wouldn't have the ability to do that. Again, if they're mentoring you in specific areas, I would think that that would be something that you would do. I would hope that you're not overlapping. That probably would be not necessarily the best relationship, but again, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you want a mentor in personal relationships, right? Husband, wife, partner kind of thing, that certainly could have somebody mentoring you in how to, be a better partner. And then a business mentor as well, certainly could have something like that. How do you know when to drop a mentor or coach? So a great question, fantastic question. Again, the coaching one should be a little bit more finite and more determinate by the establishment of the relationship. The coach generally is looking for a very specific practice outcome, right? So again, that's why I say the life coach is kind of a very nebulous thing. It doesn't really align. Whereas a performance management coach or a business development coach, they generally have a set of objectives, targets that you're trying to meet, and they're going to give you the kind of the timeline, the target timeline to get to those things, or the duration is predetermined by the relationship. Again, there's typically a compensation structure associated with that, so it tends to be more fixed as the establishment of the relationship. The mentoring side of it is more somewhat open-ended, and again, depending on what you're looking for from a mentoring standpoint and whether or not there's compensation, those are probably the key drivers around the duration there. For the example that I used, I established the duration up front. I set the objectives up front. I asked my mentees to target them. Other mentors have different approaches to that. Okay, so you'll have to if you're asking somebody to mentor you, should establish that. You should say, I'm looking for a long-term mentorship. I'm looking in these areas for you to help me. Or I'm looking for about 6 months of your time to help me in these 2 specific areas, right? Sorry, how do you know when to change or drop a mentor coach again? Is it worth it to maintain a mentor?
Sorry, can we go back to that one?
Sure.
Because you said first you assess your needs, you define your goals. Shouldn't that be a key criteria in firing any one of these? If you've attained your goal or objective, isn't that the time when you should drop them, assuming you didn't set a term limit upfront?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, so go back to the 3 different roles. An advisor. When should I drop them? When they've given me the advice that I was seeking, right? At that point, I no longer need them. I brought them in for a very targeted set of expertise. When you've gotten that insight, so maybe you bring in an advisor to help you with your social media presence. And they give you a report that says this is where you're currently ranked, and these are the 10 areas that you can improve. Once you get that report, that's the end of the relationship, right? And again, that relationship typically established at the inception, as opposed to a mentoring relationship, which is more, frequently not time boxed at the inception. The same with the coaching, right? If you bring somebody in to coach you on how to do a better job of writing your presentation for business pitch, right? Once you've gotten that coaching, and you've written your business pitch, that is quote unquote the end of that relationship by definition. And again, it could be related, it could be determined at the inception. The mentoring, because you're not looking typically at a very specific practice or skill set or knowledge area, you're looking more broadly. It tends to be a little more nebulous in establishing that. When would you end a mentoring relationship? When it's no longer valuable. If some, or you've achieved the outcomes that you wanted from that mentoring relationship. Those are certainly the natural endpoints. Or if it was established at inception, then you would end it whenever the time box ends. Is it worth it to maintain a mentor for personal network, which can be a benefit to me? Anything that's a benefit to you is worth it to maintain. Especially in an entrepreneurial setting, right? There are things that, and again, depending on where you're at in your journey, right? If you're just getting ready to start your business and you have somebody who's mentored you in the past, there's no reason to end that relationship. You may not be actively being mentored, but there's no reason to end that relationship. If you're very mature in your entrepreneurial journey and you're looking at expansion and growth, right? People that helped you along the way should be people that you'd still keep in your network. Again, I use the example where I have people that, I've had relationships with, mentoring relationships or other relationships. I keep them in my network. Why? Because when I have new mentees that I bring in, they may need some specific help, and I can look to other people in my network and give referrals in my network, right? I talked about kind of the chip, right? If somebody comes to me for help in a specific area and I can help them, I use that chip to say, I may pass somebody your way later on. So building your network, all of these things are really around building your network and having resources within your network that you can go to and say, trusted resources that you can go to and say, hey, got a new challenge, got a new problem, and I think you can help me with that.
Just as a time check, how much more time do you think we need,
Uh,
Travis?
yeah, this shouldn't take too long. This is just kind of a quick quiz here to see how sticky this information was. So if you have about maybe 7 or 8 minutes, we should be able to get through this. See, several folks have given me the thumbs up. Again, give you about 30 seconds to join if you haven't. Menti.com, code 1811-7697, 1811-7697. All right, so let's take a look here. A mentor is someone who provides guidance to achieve goals, shares knowledge and experience, has specific expertise, or can point you to resources. Yeah. So let's see what the correct answer is here. Give you about 10 seconds. Looks like we're split. Oh, still split. Okay, let's take a look here. So again, sharing knowledge and experience is really what we're looking for in our mentors, right? They're going to be sharing knowledge and experience. Those of you answering after I shared the answer, good job. That's what, that's the way to make sure that you get the right answer. Okay. So sharing knowledge and experience, right? When you think mentor, they're going to be sharing. They're going to be sharing of themselves. That's what mentoring is about, sharing of oneself. All right. Let's see. Got you ready. No results yet. Let's see. Question number 2. Oops. I guess I wiped out my questions here. Sorry about that. Apparently, I set this up incorrectly today. So the next question was going to ask you about what the definition of a coach was. Sorry. Guess I got these a little bit messed up today. Don't know why that didn't come out that way. Let's see. Should be in process. So let's see. A coach, someone who's going to provide guidance and achieve goals, right? So coaching is around goal achievement. Mentoring, sharing knowledge and experience. Coaching is going to be around goal achievement. An advisor, again, specific knowledge, specific expertise. They're going to be someone that you're going to bring in specific challenges. Let's see. An advisor is going to have a strong emotional relationship, true or false? The answer is false, right? They are there to provide you with specific information. What you do with that information is completely up to you. And then same question for a mentor, longer connection. The answer is actually true. Okay. That should be true, not false. Right? Mentor's going to have a longer connection, typically. Okay. Sorry, the quiz didn't work out too well, but hopefully everyone is familiar with the information. So didn't matter that it didn't show out so well. All right. Any final questions or commentary? I don't know that I have I don't think I have my share open for the resources that I posted, Shruti. So I don't know if you have that, if you want to share that, or if you're just going to share it in the chat sessions in WhatsApp.
We'll share, if you all look out, I will share the link to the shared resources within the WhatsApp group. So
Okay.
at least you have that and you can reference it. Thank you for the great session, Travis. Much appreciated. Hopefully others got as much value out of it as I did. So we would look towards our next session next month. And as Travis mentioned, we are constantly looking for opportunities to learn. Are we on track with your expectations? Is there something we can do better? Should Travis next time sing during the session? So things like that we want to know. So please look out for our survey. It's the only way we can learn what we're doing right and what we could do better. Always looking for feedback, as you may know. My favorite saying, as some of you have heard so many times, I don't know what I don't know. So please tell me that which I don't know or that I'm missing. And if I know some of you talked about the timing may not be the appropriate one, that's something we're still learning. We tried it at this time slots. We're going to shift time slots in the next 2 to get more data points. As Travis will tell you, it's all about iterating and pivoting or persevering. So we won't know unless we test out different time slots. So we're probably going to, you will see a shift next time. Those in Kenya will probably get it at 4 p.m. and everything else will cascade from there. Another thing we will be exploring, which you will see, is probably having it at multiple time slots with a recorded version. So we'll record the first instance, and for the other convenient time slots, we would have that recording play while you're listening, and then we will take questions. So at least you still get the interaction part. So this is all part of the experimentation that I subscribe to, because all of life is an experiment. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate your attendance. And next time, bring your pal. Let them share in the value that you get. Again, Travis, thank you. And if you have a last word, please, the floor is yours.
I'm not singing. That's the last word. So those that are asking that, happy to share my journey from military to leadership coaching. Happy to share that. Not sure that's a webinar, but I mean, if people are interested in that, I'm happy to set up a WhatsApp call or Zoom call and have a kind of a more open forum discussion on that. Be happy to have that conversation. As for mentoring, coaching, and advisor, I think the answer is you have to start by self-evaluating and be open to the fact that we all can't know everything. And once you get past that hurdle and you can do that self-assessment, that personal SWOT analysis, then you can start to identify some areas where you might want a coach, an advisor, or a mentor. And certainly for those that are in the cohort, start the relationship with the mentors that you're going to be assigned, and then use that as kind of a foundational understanding of how that relationship works and how you want it to work in the future. For those that are in the cohort, again, if you have specific questions around mentoring or advisor or coaching, feel free to send me WhatsApp. I'm not, you folks have mastered WhatsApp. I'm still trying to figure out how to log into it half the time. So I will probably be slow in my responses, but I do look in the forum and I try to respond reasonably timely. So if you have a question for me, feel free to reach out through WhatsApp. Happy to answer or direct you to somebody that can answer.
Okay. Have a wonderful day, rest of your day for those who are in a later time zone. And see you next time.